Today I'll be discussing the film The Insult in relation to dispute analysis. There isn't a lot of time, so we'll jump straight into it. To assess the causes of dispute, we'll look at the simplified diagnosis intervention by Bull. During this movie, communication is unclear, there is a high degree of negative feelings and frustration, and the values between both parties are conflicting, which fuels a dispute. Conflict and failed attempts to negotiate about an illegal drain pipe hits the tip of the iceberg when Tony expresses his hatred towards Palestinians, where Yesser retaliates with physical assault. As Menkel, Meadow and colleagues once stated, conflict only becomes a dispute once one or both parties express their differences or act on them. This is seen both in the events before and during the court trial. Tension arises between the two parties as both of their interests had not been met. As the satisfaction triangle explains, people have three independent needs that must be carefully considered in order to achieve agreements and decisions that will last. These are procedural, emotional, and substantive needs, which in this film are not all met, rather they are only singular points that are acknowledged. Tony's unwillingness to address that he is also at fault and his lack of emotional regulation fuels the court case to escalate. Tony hires a lawyer who is also pro-Christian. Tony's lawyer uses adversarial negotiation during the case with a power-based approach. His team seeks out any evidence or tactics that they can use to win the dispute. This neglects Tony's emotional and procedural needs, as the legal team focuses on his substantial needs. This dismissal of emotion adds to the fire as those needs are interrelated in an ongoing cycle. Tony explains he is seeking a fair trial and an apology. However, the lawyer is more concerned to do whatever it takes to win the case, even if it is not at the party's best interest. Tension arises during the court proceeding as it turns into a political agenda which gains attention from the public and sees an outbreak in political riots throughout Beirut, causing further discrepancies between the two groups. Through the adversarial negotiation process, there is immense use of power. So a few points of power through the film. Tony wants to win the court case to exert the power that was taken away from him during the Damon massacre. Tony's lawyer approaches the entire case through power, willing to exercise his control not only over Yesser, but over Tony too, willing to do whatever it takes to win the case. He uses political clout and skewered facts as weapons with the help from his legal team, even though Tony says he just wants a fair case. Tony's legal team tries to exert power and views this whole thing as a zero-sum game, and they're not interested in cooperating for mutual gain. In the beginning of the court case, Tony collects evidence of his rights and entitlements in hopes of winning against Yesser through what he is legally entitled to. During the court case, the defense lawyer volunteers to stand in court as she feels Yesser's rights have been violated, causing him extreme distress through the hatred of Tony's words. Yesser's interests were to effectively maintain work, while Tony is interested in relieving his emotions. The defense lawyer is interested in protecting the rights of Yesser and winning against her father's zero-sum game. There was a slight attempt at negotiating at the start of the film, however it was not with a professional and fell through. Mediation may have been an effective alternative form of dispute resolution that would have assisted both Yesser and Tony earlier. An interest-based negotiation and mediation would give both Yesser and Tony the opportunity to discuss and draw out their batners and their whatners, alternatively to the zero-sum game that was predominantly evident throughout the adversarial negotiation during the film. Mediation would allow both Tony and Yesser to take responsibility of the decisions made that have affected their own and each other's lives. This would allow for each point of the satisfaction triangle discussed earlier to be met for each party. Tony's past and emotional regulation is clearly an issue, therefore specific forms of mediation may have been useful, such as spiritual healing mediation or therapeutic mediation. Spiritual healing refers to the transcending painful feelings generated by conflict and restoring balance in one's life. Therapeutic mediation is designed to help parties deal with psychological and social issues that have contributed to their conflict and have blocked their ability to resolve it. Power and rights approaches are distributive, focusing on how to divide resources, yet Yesser and Tony need to work together. An interest-based approach would allow parties to work together, meeting the interests of all people and prevent further division that is seen throughout the film for both parties' associates throughout the public. In conclusion, the disputes throughout the film The Insult may have been effectively handled better if mediation was proposed earlier. Throughout the film, both lawyers and defendants displayed numerous different components to dispute resolution theory.